Everything in high school football this year has built up to this moment right here. Welcome to State Champs on Local 4 High School Football State Finals Preview. I'm Hobie Artigue, joined by Lorne from State Champs, and we brought you the Power Poll all season, so why not keep it going with the top games of the year heading into this weekend?
You know, Hobie, 32 teams playing in 11-player semifinals last Saturday, and we had 13 Metro Detroit area teams vying for that final spot at Ford Field.
Yeah, and over the next 30 minutes, we will take a look at all of the top matchups coming up at Ford Field.
Yeah, and we're also going to reveal who made the Final Four in the State Champs Mr. Football and Anvil Award races. This time next week, we should know who this year's winners will be.
And Patti Cesarini will be talking with the head coaches of the Division I and Division II finals, chatting about this year's journey for some of the top teams in the state. We'll have much more on that coming up a little bit later in studio.
Yeah, and just a reminder, we'll have highlights of all of day one of the state championship games on our Saturday morning State Champs show at 10:30 a.m. right here on Local 4. You've got to check that out.
Let's do quick mentions on the teams from around the metro area who did not make it to the state finals in Divisions 8, 7, 6, and 3. Division 8, Allen Park Cabrini fell 67-14 to Hudson, who will now face Harbor Beach.
That's right. Allen Park Cabrini's incredible run finally came to an end against a powerhouse Hudson team. But what a breakthrough season for the Monarchs. First semifinal in school history, a program-defining step forward.
In Division 7, Clinton lost to Schoolcraft 43-14. They will now face Menominee.
That's right. Clinton's great season just ran into a buzzsaw. Schoolcraft jumped out to a 30-0 lead by halftime. The Red Wolves finished 10-3 after an impressive run.
Division 6, Jackson Lumen Christi going for back-to-back state titles at Ford Field, but it took 3 overtimes as they now get Kingsley.
Yeah, what a game. Almont went toe-to-toe with Lumen Christi. It was an instant classic, pushing the Titans to triple overtime before falling 25-19. A real heartbreaking finish for the Raiders, but on the other side, a historic moment as Lumen Christi's Herb Brogan moved into second all-time in Michigan in coaching victories.
Quite an accomplishment. Division 3, Warren De La Salle got hot at the right time in the postseason, but they fell to DeWitt 41-20, who will now get Mount Pleasant.
That's right. Warren De La Salle's Cinderella run, it really was, finally ended against a relentless DeWitt squad. The Pilots led at the half, but Travers Moore took over after the break as the Panthers pulled away to end DLS's postseason surge.
Let's take a look at what's to come in Division 5. That game happening on Sunday at 4 p.m. Pontiac Notre Dame taking on Grand Rapids West Catholic. The Irish going for 2 consecutive state titles, but they lost 2 of their first 3 games to start this year. That said, they have really stepped up in the playoffs all the way to this final.
That's right. Notre Dame punched its ticket back to Ford Field with a dominant 51-21 semifinal win over Monroe Jefferson. The Irish controlled the first half, scoring on every possession and building a 24-0 lead behind a balanced attack. The Irish have now won 10 straight and look locked in for another shot at the Division 5 title.
Now, West Catholic started off the year 0-1, but after that speed bump, it's been smooth sailing and full steam ahead for the Falcons. What kind of test awaits Notre Dame?
Notre Dame Prep heads into the D5 state finals playing with a lot of confidence and the balance of a defending champion. But standing in the way is Grand Rapids West Catholic. They are a tradition-rich powerhouse. 7 titles and a roster built for November football. They're disciplined and they're opportunistic, forcing turnovers that shift momentum. NDP counters with that versatility on offense, a defense that's tightened in big moments and special teams capable of flipping the field. So it's a classic matchup of West Catholic's power and pedigree versus Notre Dame Prep's explosiveness and execution. Sunday at Ford Field, this one has all the makings of a championship fight.
So many games like that this year, but in Division 4, home to one of the best stories in the entire postseason here in Michigan. Divine Child upsetting the favorites in D4 Harper Woods, then beating the defending champs from last year to earn their spot. But another big challenge awaits on Friday against Hudsonville Unity Christian. but the Falcons are finding ways to win some very low-scoring games lately.
No question, Dearborn Divine Child earned its first trip to the state finals since 1985 with a hard-fought 10-7 win over the defending state champion Goodrich. The Iowa commit, the Mr. Football candidate Marcello Vitti, 17-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. With Goodrich driving for the tie in the final minute, the junior Michael DeSalvo sealed it with his second interception of the game. It was a true grinded-out win, and Divine Child proved it's built for championship football.
Now, Unity Christian lost only one game this year. That was right before the playoffs. But since then, they've won every game by double digits. The Crusaders really taking care of some business right now.
And they do this routinely. Divine Child enters this D4 state final riding the momentum of that gritty 10-7 win over the defending champ. Now the Falcons face a completely different challenge in Hudsonville Unity Christian, a team that just pounded its way past Vicksburg 45-17 behind nearly 400 rushing yards and a dominant power T attack. Unity Christian doesn't throw much, but they don't need to. Two tough physical teams and a Division IV title on the line Friday at Ford Field. And just a reminder that we will have highlights of all of day one of the state championship games on our Saturday morning State Champ show at 10:30 a.m. right here on Local 4. You've got to check that out.
Hi everyone, Patti Cesarini here with a quick reminder before we get to the big announcements. State Champ's social media channels are the heartbeat of the network, so make sure to follow, like, subscribe, and share all of our content. It's the best way for fans across Michigan to find us. You can follow along on all major platforms at State Champs Mich or State Champs Net, but stay right here. The Final Four in the Mr. Football and Anvil Award races are coming up next.
Follow the pathway of curiosity to the ground floor of possibilities. Change the world we live in by designing the world of tomorrow. You'll find your calling is closer than imagined. The College of Architecture and Design at Lawrence Technological University has all the technology and tools to make magic. Be curious. Make magic.
Welcome back to the show, everybody, as the games get ready to begin at Ford Field starting on Friday. We will have more on Divisions 1 and 2 coming up, but in addition to the top teams in the state, it's now time to look at some of the top players in Michigan. Let's toss it over to Lorne in the State Champs studio to reveal the Final Four nominees for this year's Anvil Award.
Welcome inside the State Champs studio now for our Anvil Final Four reveal. Lorne Plant, the coach, Tim Beckler. We've been doing this all season long. Let's talk about our online vote winner. First guy in is from Freeland High School. His name is Tristan Comer. His community, the Freeland community, came out, showed up, showed out, voted for him. What does Comer's two-way dominance tell you about his toughness, endurance, and his football IQ?
Well, he's an athlete first. You know, he's also a basketball player. So to play tackle and rush end, you've got to be able to move on your feet. You've got to be coachable. There's a lot of things going on that you have to do. So he is a football player. He is an athlete.
All right, well, let's move into the Catholic Central category because we had two guys, Jack Janda and Ben Azuka, who were up for this award. Ben Azuka has made the Final Four for Detroit Catholic Central. Really just a dominant run blocker with an elite point of attack strength. He can play on both sides. Coach, what separates Azuka when it comes to physical dominance and finishing off blocks at this high school level?
Well, he's very well coached. You can see on both sides of the ball. But so his technique is excellent. But when we broke him down months ago, I said he is a perfect guard. Big, thick kid, quick off the football, and he moves people. And on defense, you know, you can't double team the kid either. I mean, he just takes up blockers. You'd love to play linebacker lined up behind him, because I don't know how people are going to touch you.
Well, another guy entering our Final Four from the defending Division I state champions, Khalif Canty. So, Coach, when you evaluate Canty as an interior offensive lineman, what stands out about his leverage, hand uses, and his ability to control the line?
Yeah, his hands have gotten better from watching his junior tape. And it's about getting underneath the player you're blocking. He's so much better at that. So if you get a base and you get leverage on people, you are going to displace and move them and pancake, and you're going to be a great player.
Yeah. And our final guy who's entering our Final Four is Ben Nichols, the talented defensive lineman, edge player from Davison.
He's the highest rated player, lineman in our state, going to Notre Dame. Remember, I think he was the first gentleman we talked about early on. The Anvil is named after kids like that, you know. They're tools that you smash things on, and he is a smasher.
Yeah, it's not an easy decision to try and choose who is the top lineman in the state this year, but we will have to do that. You have our Final Four, and stay tuned.
Congratulations to you four who have been chosen, and best of luck. But that's not the only Final Four reveal here on Local 4. State Champs has been highlighting the top players in the state all season, and now it's time to introduce the final nominees for Mr. Football 2025. Take it away, guys.
Back again inside the State Champs studio. Sean Belizean here as we are about to reveal the Mr. Football Final Four. This is always a big day in State Champs history when we get a chance to do this, because, again, the winner is obviously huge, but it's so hard to trim it down to four. But let's do it. First off, let's give you our online vote winner. Well, Dakota Garant, congratulations. You're in the Final Four. Not that you wouldn't be already, but the fans said, no, we want to guarantee that this Harper Woods Pioneer star is in the Final Four. And Sean, what separates Dakota Garant in your mind as a playmaker? How much does this versatility influence the Mr. Football competition?
It was huge. I mean, think of what they would be without him. And I'm with you. I want to echo what you said. This is a kid that would probably be on there anyway. He checked all the boxes. The team was outstanding this year, make no mistake about it. I know the season ended in a fashion that they didn't expect, but my goodness, every box was checked.
Absolutely. Okay, let's move on. This one from day one we knew was going to be in the mix, and that is CJ Sadler from Detroit Cass Tech. Of course, the defending champs, a guy who is just such a great decision maker on the field, whether it's defensively and especially offensively.
This is an explosive player in more ways than one. No doubt about it with this guy. This guy was going to be on the list.
Yeah, and somebody he'll be going up against in the state finals is, of course, Samson Gash from Detroit Catholic Central. He makes the Final Four, the track state champion who is so dynamic and who has made the big play all year, whether it's in special teams or as a wide receiver.
Hey, listen, a huge part of Catholic Central, make no mistake about that. The ascension back to where Catholic Central is used to be, Samson Gash deserves a heck of a lot of that credit.
And as hard as it was, we do the criteria, but again, this guy could not be left off the Final Four, and that is Marcello V for Dearborn Divine Child. Just look at what they have done this season, including stopping Mr. Garant and company. This is an explosive two-way threat, does it on both sides of the ball. Sean, what stands out most about this guy's versatility?
We stayed true to our criteria. The first show this year, we showed you our criteria. We said we sit in a room, we go down there. I think a lot of us walked into the room thinking one thing, and we decided on the other, and it's the versatility. It's making plays on both sides of the line. Big time, big game performances, and I think that set him apart.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in this year. And again, congratulations to all the guys who are nominees. And of course, good luck to the teams playing this weekend.
Coming up, we're bringing you the head coaches from both Division I and Division II state championship games. I'll sit down with each of them to break down their matchup, what to expect underneath the bright lights at Ford Field, and their incredible journey that both of their teams took to get here. It's insight you won't want to miss, so make sure to stay with us.
If playing college sports is your dream, don't wait for a college coach to find you. Recruit yourself. At Lawrence Tech, we're looking for student athletes. LTU competes in the NAIA with 24 varsity sports and athletic scholarships. Explore new degree programs like sport management, where sports meets cutting-edge education. Visit LTURecruitYourself.com and just fill out the questionnaire. It's that easy. Lawrence Technological University. Be curious. Make magic.
Big pizza's a big deal at Hungry Howie's. Right now, order online carryout and take 51% off any large original or thin crust pizza. That's right, more than half off the round ones. A whole 1% more than half. Hey, it still counts. And you get the whole original or thin crust pizza, the whole round pizza. But you love a classic round pie, so go ahead and take 51% off any of them. And don't forget to add flavored crust on us, cause we do both.
Hungry
Howie's.
Welcome back to the show. Hobie, Artigue, and Lorne Plant joining you. Two excellent matchups await in the top two divisions this year. A pair of teams trying to repeat, but facing two teams hungry to bring home a title of their own. Let's start in D2. Orchard Lake St. Mary's back at Ford Field, facing a Dexter team that's averaging 45 points a game in the playoffs.
And that's in the playoffs. So Dexter reaches the D2 state championship game for the first time in school history, thanks to one of the most explosive seasons Michigan high school football has ever seen. Senior quarterback Cooper Arnett and record-setting, shattering wideout Cole Navarro have led an offense that's been unstoppable all postseason. In the semifinal, Navarro delivered a historic performance, 4 touchdowns, breaking the MHSAA single season records for catches, yards, and receiving TDs as the Dreadnoughts rolled past Birmingham Groves 41-6.
Now let's focus on Orchard Lake St. Mary's. They had some growing pains midway through the season, but in their last 2 postseason games, they've outscored their opponents by 5 touchdowns in each one of those games.
It's been a wild run for the Eaglets. So they returned to the Division II state championship game behind a dominant playoff-tested formula. The Eaglets have controlled every matchup with physical line play and a punishing run game and the steady leadership of quarterback Jabin Gonzalez. In the semifinal, they jumped all over Portage Central, scoring on their first 3 drives. Gonzalez threw 4 touchdown passes, and the Eaglets defense delivered multiple 4th down stops to seal a 42-7 win. The defending champs are back at Ford Field looking to finish the job again.
And it is the first ever matchup between these two and two teams who have completely different mentalities when it comes to playing the game of football.
That's right. This D2 final is a true clash of styles. OLSM brings a balanced physical attack, a power run game. Dexter counters one of the most explosive offenses in the state. Cooper Arnett pushing record-setting numbers. Cole Navarro rewriting the receiving record book. The Dreadnoughts want pace and space. OLSM wants control, possession, and body blows. It's power versus firepower. Whichever team dictates tempo at Ford Field will likely walk away with the Division II crown.
And let's toss it over to Patti, who is sitting down with both head coaches who are going head-to-head in Division II as Dexter takes on Orchard Lake St. Mary's.
Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. And yes, I am sitting down with Orchard Lake St. Mary's head coach Jermaine Gonzalez, and then also virtually with Dexter's head coach Phil Jacobs. And Coach, I'll start with you. You guys had a big-time win against Carlson earlier in the playoffs, outscored them 35-7 in the second half for the win, and now you're making this run all the way to Ford Field. How has just the excitement and energy been surrounding your team's trip to Ford Field?
Well, we're certainly excited to be in the position we are right now, and we made some adjustments at halftime in that game, and our kids just responded, persevered in that second half, rallied together, and we never looked back. So we're just excited to be in this game and in preparation for Orchard Lake, who is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Gonzalez, now I'll ask you, you had a big-time birthday win against Portage Central. Happy belated birthday. I know the guys were singing to you in the post-game huddle, but it was a pretty dominant win against Portage Central. What do you look to take with you from that game heading into this Dexter game?
Well, hats off to Portage Central. Again, it was a physical fought game, and they were a tough team, and we knew that we had to make it a physical game. And Obviously, I used my birthday as some excitement to get the boys going, and they executed. They played lights out. They played with all their hearts, and you know, we're fortunate to be back, you know, at Ford Field again. So.
100%. And Coach Jacobs, you have one of the best passing duos in the state with Cooper Arnett and Cole Navarra. How do you just get those guys going early in this game?
Well, it's our philosophy has always been take what the defense gives us, and you know, if they're going to double cover him, then it's going to leave somebody else open, we hope, or the run game, and we kind of look at that both ways. If they're going to take away the run, and then the passing game should be there. But you know, I'm sure Coach Gonzalez has got something to say about that. But you know, it's always been the philosophy.
Yeah, and Coach Gonzalez, for you guys, it's a thing about experience when you're playing in championship games as well. You've played as a player, and also you've coached in one, obviously. How do you think that is going to play an effect as you guys look to win back-to-back state titles?
I think it helped, but at the same time, you know, it's a new group, and I tell my boys all the time, just don't be different. You know, don't be different. Keep believing in our values and our culture that we built, and do the right things every day, and you know, good things will happen. So I just think, you know, us being the same as we've been and not making it too big of a moment helps us out. So we'll be, you know, like I said, the boys are excited and they'll be ready to go.
Well, coaches, thank you both so much again for joining us here today. Congratulations on making it to Ford Field, and we wish you both the very best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patti, and to those coaches for taking some time ahead of a huge week in Michigan football. Many great games coming up this weekend, but it all leads to the heavyweight fight in Division I. Cass Tech and Detroit Catholic Central were our top two teams in the power poll all year, and now they meet at Ford Field. Let's start with the Shamrocks, Lorne. What's impressed you most about that team this year?
What hasn't? Detroit Catholic Central returns to the D1 State Finals behind a complete all phases surge through the playoffs. Shamrocks have been dominant defensively, holding teams in check with a physical front led by Wisconsin commit Jack Janda, and they found explosive playmaking on offense and special teams. In the semifinal against East Kentwood, the Gash brothers took over. Sampson with a 95-yard punt return and a receiving TD. Gideon with a 99-yard kickoff return cruised to a 46-6 win.
The defending champs, though, have looked nearly unstoppable all season. Cass Tech had a tough opponent in Rochester Adams in the semifinal, but that's a game they won by 26 points to earn their trip back to the final.
So Cass Tech returns to the D1 state championship game after a statement-making 48-22 win over Rochester Adams, powered by one of the most dynamic duos in Michigan. The sophomore Julian Taylor, who knew? Unstoppable, scoring 5 touchdowns, running through and around a tough Adams defense all afternoon, and Michigan's most electric playmaker, CJ Sadler, changed the game with a long kick return, a touchdown catch, and a momentum-shifting interception, riding a 22-game win streak fueled by star power on both sides of the ball. Cass Tech heads to Ford Field playing its best football of the season.
And Cass Tech beat Catholic Central last year in the semifinals. That was decided by only 3 points. Now they meet as undefeated teams with everything on the line. What do you think is going to decide this one between two teams that have been two of the best in the state all year?
Coin flip. 2 unbeaten heavyweights squaring off at Ford Field, and Cass Tech versus Detroit Catholic Central has all the ingredients for a classic. One team wins with muscle, the other with lightning. With both unbeaten, something has to give in the Division I title tilt.
And for more on this matchup, let's send it back over to Patti, catching up with both head coaches ahead of this big-time high school football bout.
Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Now joined with Detroit Catholic Central's head coach, Justin Sassante, and also Cass Tech's head coach, Marvin Rushing. This was a very anticipated matchup. The two best teams in the state. And Coach Sassante, I'll start with you. After losing to Cass Tech in the state semifinals last year, the motto this year has been finish what we started. A tribute to last year's seniors, left the program better than you found it. You guys went on, had a perfect record, make it all the way to state. What's it going to take now?
Yeah, I mean, it's about writing a story of this year. You know, I think putting last year behind us, but it's definitely a motivation and a factor going into the off season. But we're excited to meet the challenge and play in an environment that I think is going to be unlike any high school state championship football game, at least at Ford Field, that I can remember. and two teams that are undefeated and have a lot of athletes and a lot of attributes. So, you know, for me, it's about getting back to what we do every single week, respecting the process. You know, football, regardless of 30, 40,000 people or not, it's when the whistle blows, it's still a 100-yard field, and you have to play, you know, block, tackle, take care of the football, do all those things. So I think just focusing on that task at hand is going to be important for us.
And Coach Rushing, for you guys, you're no stranger to this. You guys were the favorites, won last year, defending champs. What's different about this year's trip to Ford Field for you guys?
Well, one thing we started out this year, our motto is 2024 paychecks don't pay 2025 bills. What you had, the success you had, you build upon it, you learn from it, you learn how to evolve, but that doesn't guarantee success tomorrow. We're led by a fabulous senior class with our class of 26. They've been phenomenal off the field, in the building. The thing I'm most proud of this year, our collective GPA after first card marking was a 3.26, which is pretty tough to do when you got that many guys in the program, and the vast majority had well over 3 point. So we've been working, we've been grinding, we've been trusting the process. It really comes down to respecting the process, respecting each other, and respecting our opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Desante, you guys have been strong defensively all season long, and now you're going up against a very well-balanced Cass Tech offense, whether it's their running back Julian Taylor or CJ Sadler in the air. How do you prepare defensively for this?
Yeah, I think we have one of the best, you know, defensive coordinators in the state, or maybe even the country, in my opinion. Joe Mack, who's son of legendary Tom Mack, and has done a great job. Just the amount of work that he puts in and the conviction that he has. So I think it's about getting guys in the right position. And at the end of the day, these young men have to understand it's 48 minutes for a lifetime. It's never truer than right now for the state championship. Coach and I have been around this game a long time and been through all the up and downs of football, but getting them mentally, physically, and emotionally prepared to come out and play their best and have maximum effort, no regrets.
And on the flip side, Coach Rushing, when you take a look at Catholic Central, they have speed with the Gash brothers, but then they also have the power with Jack Janda, Benny Azuka. How do you prepare defensively to just balance it out and then also let Khalif Canty go to work in the trenches, lead that O-line, and give Donald Tabron some time to go to work?
Well, much like Catholic Central, I'm quite sure we've been preparing for a while. We kind of foresaw this being the pathway to win a state championship. I've had a chance to watch them twice in person, very impressed with what they do. Honestly, you got to stick to what you do, get your team prepared, and focus more internally than externally. Sometimes you can overthink this process or whatnot. So again, we're going to focus on what we do well. They're going to hit plays. We're going to hit plays. And in the game, the team that's most disciplined, most physical, is going to be the one that hoists that trophy.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out. Guys, thank you so much again for taking the time. I really appreciate it, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
A special thank you to all of the coaches for their time ahead of what should be a very fun weekend at Ford Field. And a reminder, this year the finals take place on Friday and Sunday this year due to Michigan State and Maryland's game, which will be at Ford Field on Saturday.
Right. That's right. And don't forget, State Champ back at its regular time, Saturday at 10:30 a.m. on WDIV Local 4. Full coverage from day one of the state finals. And make sure to follow us on all of our social media channels so you don't miss out.
And thank you to everyone for watching and our excellent crew helping today and all season long. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you so much, Hobie. It's been great hanging out with you all season here in studio. Good luck to all the teams competing in this weekend's state finals. And by all means, check it out.
State Champs on Local 4 High School Football State Finals Preview is presented by Lawrence Technological University. With over 24 NAIA varsity sports, we want you to recruit yourself at lturecruityourself.com. State Champs is also brought to you by Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor.